Hi, everybody. Good evening or good morning. Actually, we are back on live part four chapter, the last one out of the four, with our streaming series of the Untold story of the origin of rock dance theater. So welcome everybody that is tuning in just now. Anna Achimowicz, as always, humbly with you, and I'm literally jumping quick into the studio over here to hang out with you guys, to do a small summary of all of the four parts that you actually witnessed, the four parts of the untold stories that are ending up in the autobiography in the book that is the rock chapter of rock dance theater, and it's four anniversary years this year, and going on 5 actually. Time flies, and it has been an incredible ride, I gotta say. And the fun thing also is to kind of reflect and look back on projects and talk about stories, good, bad, otherwise. But the no more tears or blood, especially, is something that that is meant to be a summary and kind of a storytelling thing where all of the experiences that has formed rock dance theater and my personal experiences with people that I worked with, situations, things going down the drain, things blowing up, things just falling apart, tours canceled, partners being just doped out of their mind and intoxicated, and just like everything being reconstructed and kind of unwinding all over again. All of that actually is landing in the book that I'm still writing. I'm probably never going to publish it, but that's why I have you guys over here. If you're tuning in on Rock Dance Theater TV on YouTube, on Twitch, on our official channel, even Facebook and all of the other good things, platforms of your choice, do all of those good things to click the subscribe, the likes, the follows, and all of those other good things, while I'll take a sip of water because it's freaking hot over here. I hear those clicks going off, of course, you sitting in your respectable beer garden, still quarantine lockdown, live gig, park, club, wherever you might be. Hope you guys are safe and well as always. And thank you so much for joining and tuning in. We're not going to go super long because, as you guys heard in the previous narratives that I shared, we've gone all the way back to 2016. We've discussed my very first guitar partner in the rock dance theater Polish lineup, before the Swedish lineup came over, before the American lineup started, before the Austrian members jumped in, because it's a polyamory Swedish collective and hybrid, if you will. Before all of that, we did discuss the very first guitar player that joined me, but had a huge addiction problem. I've been talking to you guys a little bit on the educational level, kind of to bring awareness to not only problems with addictions, but with any kind of substance abuse that pretty much prevents you from being professional, prevents you from putting on the best show possible, showing up for rehearsals, for meetings, for concepts, and kind of being on the same path with all of the other members. So pretty much, if you want to go pro, a lot of elements and a lot of things don't work and don't mingle well, at least in our world. And by that, I mean rock and metal and all of that. Way too many histories as it is. We did see on the horizon everyone kind of surviving the era of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. These days, rock goes yoga and meditation and medicine and all of that. And it's only to prove that basically some things work better, and the longer you preserve your instrument, your body, as a choreographer, as a rock performer, as a bass player, guitar player, whatever, what have you, it just works longer and better and all of that. So basically, some things do have to change, do need to rewire, casts have to change. For that matter, some decisions, not often easy, have to happen, but that's kind of the deal. If you want to be in the professional entertainment world and do it long and strong, as we do in rock, and survive next eras and all of that, you kind of need to have that awareness. So I always bring that up because young guys watching that want to step into our shoes, and us being, having 30, 40, 50 even being 60 and doing it for the last 2 or 3 decades already professionally, we need to kind of pass on the torch, right? So for you young guys that are taking workshops like Rock Dance Theater Performing Arts Masterclass or Time to Rock workshop that I also teach live in a setting with young guys, we just hit it, we train, we get the drills, we get the technique, we get the theory behind it, and then how to deliver that on stage in a music video context with all of the tools basically that you guys need. All of that I was lucky to have in my own career development because of people that I met and because of people that kind of guided my way, but also took a little bit of smarts at the same time and do right decisions. And of course, not always as humans, we make right decisions, because hardly ever, if you start a project with someone, you don't expect that someone to all of a sudden do something illegal on you, like make a decision that all of a sudden, hey, they're not performing. And if it's a quartet, all of a sudden one member, one cast falls through, and then like on the show day, you're basically screwed. So then you gotta really improvise. And trust me, we've all been there, and I've personally also been there to have to pull someone in from the outside to kind of save the ass of the show, so to speak. Not even mine, because like I'm good solo as it is. But when you have, for example, a duet, a trio, or a quartet out of a performance, I remember specifically one show in Vienna at actually award show that was supposed to also have a premiere, and your co-member, co-performer decides not to show up. It's just like, fuck that, I'm not getting on the flight or train. That's a tricky situation. But there was one super cool guy, super cool guitarist that shall remain nameless, young guy out of Brazil, hardcore metalhead, thrasher, perfect technique, great vibe, great energy. Just like we sat down half a day on show date, sound check, concept, kind of a little bit of taste. We had pasta, we drank espresso, and that was that with basically the induction. And you know, at 8 p.m. When the curtain goes down in the theater, bang, we just did the show, and he saved the day. Quite honestly, he saved the day. He did a great job, and shout out. He knows who he is. He lives out of LA right now, and he kicks ass pretty much. He plays with Steve Vai, and he jams with Nita Strauss, and all of those cool people that we like and admire, and are just like freaking tornadoes in the business, right? So, so yeah, these things happen, of course, and one of those things also kind of prep you, but then again doesn't. Prep you for all of the unexpected elements, and quite a bit of the unexpected is the thing that you got to brace yourself the most, because it's a business and industry and community where, quite frankly, I'm showing off my Mist t-shirt, shout out to Mist clothing, super cool fabrics and gear that I got last weekend over at my fashion fair gig, so shout out to you guys. Yeah, the industry and the creative arts, especially on stage and in performance, that makes us work with people, not with robots, not in the digital virtual situation where we just click, type, like here, glass screen in the middle, all of that, isolating things. We interact with each other. We are live flesh and blood in rehearsal. We are live flesh and blood in a situation where we create, where we riff with ideas, where performances and music videos and workshops come to life. And that's the unexpected part, the human factor. And what I also meant by the No More Tears and Blood part is the element where the ones that come from sorrow, not from the enjoyment and the ass-kickery, basically, of it, because we love to sweat, we love to be sticky and sweaty at the end of the show, we love to just literally tear our flesh off our knees and our elbows, fingers, what have you, because that's what we give 150% in a show, in a live show setting on stage, for you guys, for what you guys pay. Not a small amount of money usually, to enter a theater, to enter a festival, to enter places basically that we appear at and show our art and also make a living out of that. So that kind of works both ways. If you guys invest, in our work and our art. If you get a ticket to a rock dance theater show, that's basically what pays our bills, period, amongst other things. And maybe a lot of coffee and other like substance abuse they're legal, but we definitely need to create and to live with. So yeah, the human factor, unpredictable yet present. So as well, the tears and blood that kind of come about purely out of miscommunication, purely out of bullshit that is, and bad intention within the people that we work with and oftentimes are exposed to. Hardly any time you are prepared that someone that you work on a project with for a season or two, things are kind of unwinding. You guys get to know each other as well. We also spoke about that in part 2 and chapter 3. I believe if you guys were tuning in, you can always rewatch. You go to Rock Dance Theater TV and it's there forever until I delete it, because the book is going to be out, and then you can read everything in classical form in a hard print. So until then, you guys can rewatch, of course, and re-listen and make your own conclusions. But the experience that I can share with you, hardly any time when there is trust involved in a cooperation with someone, you build a structure, you build a show, you build a project, you invest time, you invest money, and oftentimes with a sacrifice that you both kind of chip in. And by both, I mean you and whoever it might be. It might be a 5-piece group. It might be just a second partner when there's just 2 of you. It might be a slew of people with managers and people that do graphic design and booking and co-choreographs and co-stylizes you and does fashion and everything kind of around the visual representation of your image. So that part, you never kind of predict, oh, it's got to go tits up. Right. You don't necessarily think that someone is working with you and creating with you purely for the ride with bad intentions, purely to profit something out of you, to use your talent. I'm talking about extreme situation, but that type of situation has also been a part of my journey and a part of my experience as well, where a collaborator was not completely honest and they had their own agenda. And of course, the way it kind of unwinded, I did not notice until it slapped me on the face and on the ass and really hit me hard out of shock. It's just because everything kind of ended. You know, it was just total separation, total disconnect. One day, tour over, plan over, everything had to be kind of rebuilt from scratch. And those moments are funny because at the moment, of course, you resent it and you're confused, you're sad, you're broken, because our projects are like our babies. Basically, we take things personal, however professional we are, and we step aside and next to it. We're close to it. We're not objective. We can't be. We are very much subjective towards it and the places that it comes from. Personal stories, inspirations, things that rock our boat, things that just keep us going and make us inspired, and all of a sudden, burp, it channels through, right? And of course, at the moment, it turns out that that's exactly the way it should have ended, because you were either too deep into the project, you could not necessarily see that the person you were working with does not work in your favor anymore, or rather, should I form it, that it doesn't serve your mental health, nor your project, nor your investment and time, because it's a very uneven game, especially when you're partners, let's say, equals, everybody gives 50-50, both decisions about tours are being made together, decisions about where it has a place, a form, and the structure and the tools that we use for that. If it is supposed to be 50-50, then it's pretty not okay when it's subpar, when the other side doesn't put in the same amount of will to rehearsal, the same amount of time, mental focus, involvement, excitement. And we are all different, of course. We all operate different as human beings. But when we are in one boat, sort of, on a project, on a deadline, on delivering, let's say, a great show or a music video to someone, that is the weirdest thing, if someone just works for their own agenda along the way because they can use A, B, C, D, Z from what you offer. And just want to throw that out, that I can share that it's a moment where you might not be realizing that you gotta pull the plug, and it's usually when it blows up into your face that you realize, oh shit, I should have told this person, doesn't work, I don't think we should continue. And again, of course, if you discuss it and it's open and out there and the communication is great and just without hidden agendas, yet again, I do say, which in the creative world every now and then happens, especially when there's money involved and any kind of gain, be it ego, be it attitude, and anything else, right, that goes around in person's heads. When that comes to play, of course, again, unpredictable. When it slaps you, then you know, but at the same time, it can be a blessing. I mean, my God, oftentimes it's just a release that all of a sudden was blocking you from the right path, from the place that you should be going, from other people that you should be hooking up with, or places that you should be attending to, and something else was just keeping you back. And it's pretty crazy. It's a little bit more rock philosophy, but it does happen. It's literally, life has that weird kind of dynamic. So again, why I bring that up, because of course sometimes you're not objective enough to see that and to make those own decisions by yourself. And sometimes something just cracks and creates tension and sorrow and breakup, but it's most greatly necessary actually, just to clear the slate and show you, okay, everybody has to stick to their own thing. And if it's discussed, of course, it's always easier. It's about taste. It's about the own development and ideas and directions, where you want to be as a creator, where you want to fit yourself as a rocker. So so those things are kind of good to reflect over time, actually appreciate the things that were created at the great moments and the fun moments and all of those good things. But again, it's also important and good to reflect on those. So when I keep writing those things for you guys later to read in the book, it's one of those things. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I remember September, he almost fucking overdosed again, and we almost didn't make it to the train to the gig to Vienna, and yada yada. And oh my God, like the girl literally decided, no, she's having a bad day in rehearsal, and she never told anyone, and we're just sitting there and no studio key, right? And we had an appointment, and then there was Mark, who was the owner of the studio, and it keeps going, right? It snowballs, and it's just a train wreck when things just happen. And it's one of those things, you reflect, you laugh, you kind of take wisdom and knowledge for yourself, and hell, basically that's the beauty of life, the beauty of rock and roll, and the unpredictability of what can happen. So if it's a bumper sticker and a take-home message at the same time for you young guys, because I like to keep Rock Dance Theater TV educational every now and then, because I do teach workshops, I do these group classes and workshops and appearances and seminars where sometimes I talk just like this, sometimes we are just fully throttle in practice and in the studio and just like doing stuff physically, period. So I try to keep that educational at the same time, so that you guys kind of know where we're coming from as performers that have been doing this, like myself, for the last 20 years. Rock Dance Theater has been founded in 2016, and it's been almost 5 years, because we are going on 5, and it's fun to wrap up and summarize one chapter as we go on to the next, which is oh so exciting, and so many cool things ahead, and I actually can't wait to share all of those with you guys. And yeah, so that's one of those as well. I wanted to actually mention one thing that is not only right now happening on social media, but the way we communicate, the way we kind of interact, the way that the world has been a little bit blown out of proportion, meaning reality, which is why I actually look over there, not into the camera when I talk to you guys right now, because that's where the real world is. And here in my office, as I sit, I literally have a huge window that is open. I see a clear blue sky. It's an awesome summer day. It happens to be my birthday actually too, so it's a pretty freaking rockin' day too. So you're actually joining my short birthday party, because I actually got to run. I'm attending a private birthday party as it is, just shortly after I finish this live stream with you guys in a couple of minutes. So that's exactly the outside world that you guys are witnessing and experiencing, and not what is happening on the screen, not what you read, what you see as a photo, as a still. The real interaction is happening over there, especially when you watch a show, especially when you're in concert, when you're at a jam session, when you see a backstage of a music video, when you are at a workshop, when you just have like a hangout where you get to see us, you get to buy stuff and get merch and make a photo with us and like ask questions or interact and participate in educational courses, or just like have those artistic moments where you come over to a festival and you have a huge installation all of a sudden, and just all of that. And of course, pandemic aside, which has taken a lot out of it, I think it taught us, especially myself, how much I am grateful and how much I appreciate everything that I have. And I could not say enough how blessed I am doing the thing that I'm doing, being a rocker, being a performer, being an artist that can create, that can communicate with what I do, not only with my mouth when I talk to you guys, and when I talk in classes and workshops and appearances and presentations. And sorry, my social media is literally exploding, which only tells me that I gotta run shortly. And chapter 4 actually is for you guys only to kind of say thank you and wrap up all of the stories that I mentioned and all of the bumper stickers that I kind of threw in between for awareness, for sharing the untold origin of rock dance theater, because the ones that you can see as shows and productions and music videos and credit lines and notes and bios, that's the official part that is kind of there season by season. But what gets to every season of those, what is behind a production or a creation of a show or a project or an idea, is something that none of you guys ever witness unless you're inside of it. So that's why I'm actually excited that out into the book, and that's actually a personal shout out to any of you guys and possible publishers and book companies that have their own imprints and would love to have a rock dance theater memoir and an autobiography, kind of, it's like both, with a huge chapter about rock dance theater. So yeah, let me know. Hit us up at Rock Dance Theater official social media channels or email, and will be fun to talk more. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining in chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, the untold origin story of rock dance theater, which is No More Blood or Tears. And it's been an exciting run and an exciting journey to also talk about those stories again, to kind of reflect and pass the experience, the knowledge, and hell, how it was. Some of it wasn't fun because that's life, and being also in the rock community, being in the metal community, it's not always easy. Hell no, it just looks fun and cool and like a freaking carnival all day long and all night long. It's not. It's heavy work and it's a lot of blood and tears as it is. But the ones that serve the purpose to give you guys a great show, a great album, a great music video, photo shoot, project, lyric, what have you, is worth it. Is worth the effort. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I will just say thank you for supporting Rock Dance Theater all these years, and I hope to see you at the next show, the next city. If you guys are already open, if the world is opening up and it's safe and the quarantines are low for all of us rockers that are vaccinated and ready to go, basically, let us know. Request our show, request our workshop, a rock dance theater appearance in your city, in your venue, around Europe. Also, United States is opening slowly but surely. We will make it. We will get there. So next chapter of Rock Dance Theater is going to be very exciting. So do let us know if you guys want to have our shows and our appearances somewhere. Just work on it, because you guys also are the part that supports that, and we always appreciate it. We always need that, and those thumbs and likes and shares and all of those good steps that you guys know how to do using your your opposable thumbs. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. As always, stay safe and sane out there. Keep rocking, stay metal, and until next time, at a real life show or on Let's Rock Live with Anna on the podcast. If you do not follow yet, do just that with one click of a finger. So thank you guys for joining, and until later, Anna Achimowicz signing out.